Dear listeners, today we're going to hear a story about treacherous cheating. It was a quiet Friday evening. Irina did all the housework and sat down on the sofa. She turned on the radio. Her husband Anatoly was about to broadcast a program. Irina relaxed, put her leg up, closed her eyes. She began to think back to tonight. It's good to be a housewife, she thought peacefully. She remembered the little things: cleaning around the house, cooking dinner, and shopping. Anatoly had repeatedly told her to get a job, but she was not going to work. Honey, I only have a high school education. I did not graduate from any universities like you. Anatoly just rolled his eyes and said nothing. He understood that there was no point in arguing, but he still liked to annoy his wife from time to time. But now Irina was not thinking about arguments. She was listening to the radio, and finally Anatoly's voice came through. He hosted various programs on the radio at first and could not decide what suited him best. Then he was invited to present the news. From then on, he started working irregularly, although he did have some kind of schedule. He could go to work early in the morning, then come back in the afternoon and go to work in the evening to present the nightly news. He might go to the studio in the evening and work there until midnight. And sometimes he would spend the whole day, morning to night, dubbing the news. Anatoly would mostly come home in a good mood, though he sometimes had his moments of anger. But that was only when Anatoly was harassed by a stupid boss or some inadequate colleagues. That day he worked quietly through the evening news and returned home. The mood was good. No one was bothering Anatoly that day. "Hello, Irina," he said and went to dinner. "Hello," his wife said. "How was your day?" "Nothing much. Just a routine. How are you doing at home without me?" "Fine too. How was gym practice?" "I don't have a workout today. I work out on Mondays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays." "Oh, that's right, I forgot. I'm sorry." Anatoly felt uncomfortable for some reason. "Oh, it happens," his wife said. Anatoly went to bed right after dinner that day. "I have to work tomorrow too, in the morning, so I have to get enough sleep. I've got an idiotic schedule," he said guiltily. "And I have to train tomorrow," said Irina. "I have to train in the morning too. It's a lot easier for you." "I can't argue with that. Come on, let's go to sleep." Yeah. The next day, everything went off without too much trouble. Only his wife showed up at home and said, "Darling, the trainer told me I have to go to training 6 times a week from now on." "Why?" Anatoly did not understand and felt some irritation inside. "The coach said that with my health, I have to exercise more often. Is he gonna make an Olympic champion out of you?" Anatoly tried to brush it off as a joke because he was excited about what his wife was up to. Or rather, not even his wife, but her coach. Irina giggled and said, "Oh, what an Olympic champion just for better health." "Yeah, I got it, for better health." "Okay, alright, let's say I believe that." "I don't get it." "Got mad? Are you suspecting me of something?" "Why are you so angry?" "Calm down. I'll say it again. Let's say I believe it. Then we'll see." Let's say Irina hummed. "That's right." And so it went. Monday through Saturday, Irina went to the gym, Anatoly worked. They both came home tired and neither was particularly eager to talk about anything. Anatoly convinced himself that everything was fine and that Irina was at the gym just working out, not having affairs with other men. And Irina? Well, Irina was Irina. However, Anatoly's patience lasted only a week. And finally, on Saturday, he couldn't take it anymore. He asked, "What do you do there so much?" And the strange thing was his wife got aggressive. She shouted, "Don't you trust me? We work out on the simulators, but you don't understand that. You're always sitting on your ass in the studio." "Calm down, you idiot. Who pays for you to go to the gym?" "It's on me, so shut your mouth before I forbid you to work out at all. In fact, get a job. It'll make things a lot easier for our family." "Okay, I'm sorry, I overreacted." "That's true. So what are you doing over there?" Anatoly persisted. He wanted to find out the whole truth. "You see, I've read on the internet that exercising every day is not the best option, and that it can only undermine your health." Irina smiled innocently and said, "My trainer, Max Barnsky, knows exactly what he's doing." "All right, fine. I believe you," he said, trying to stop arguing with his wife. Though, he became even more suspicious of his wife. And what annoyed Anatoly the most was that he had to make it through this evening and the next 2 days to check on his wife, since Irina had a training session on Monday. Time dragged on very slowly. Anatoly was nervous because he was afraid of discovering the painful truth, then angry at his wife and the coach at the gym, then thinking that it was all just silly suspicions, and then berating himself for his foolishness. But time went on, and finally Tuesday came, and then Anatoly was in for a bummer. He followed his wife out, followed her carefully, and her trail led to the gym. I don't believe it's all for nothing, Anatoly thought, and waited for Irina in a dark nook under a lush pine tree. The training was in the morning. The sun was already shining brightly and heating up the surrounding area. It was getting stuffy. Anatoly was breathing heavily, sweating, but he kept waiting for Irina. And as it turned out, he had not waited for her in vain. Soon his wife came out, followed by a bald man on the low porch of the gymnasium. He glanced around, a lush black mustache visible on his elongated face. The man approached Irina, took her under his arm, and led her somewhere. Neither coach nor Irina noticed Anatoly, and Anatoly followed them. The two led him into the dense thickets of greenery at the back of Central Park. Here the coach took out his phone and made a call. "Well, Max, did you call a taxi?" Anatoly heard his wife's question. "I did," the man replied. "The car will be here in a minute." So Max, Anatoly thought, the last name is probably Barnsky, and so my suspicions were not unfounded. Anatoly did not lose heart. He understood that sooner or later, it was bound to happen. His wife was too eager to go to that gym, and yet she wouldn't even get a job. If she's cheating on me, that's even better. At least there's a reason to divorce her. Now, Anatoly realized that he had wanted a divorce from Irina for a long time. "So why are you angry with both Irina and this Max now?" as if someone from the outside asked. Anatoly didn't hide the truth. You couldn't hide anything from yourself anyway. He thought, maybe it's because I still love Irina. That's why I'm hesitating with the divorce. But whether he loved Irina or not was irrelevant now, because apparently she had now decided to cheat on Anatoly with her trainer. All that remained was to be 100% certain that it was cheating. So Anatoly also called a taxi, only through the app, and the car arrived just before Irina and Max left. "Follow that taxi over there," Anatoly told the driver. "I'll put some money on top." "Yes, sir," the driver replied. This time, the road led Anatoly to a small 3-story house with beautiful renovation and decoration. It was here that Max and Irina got out of the taxi. "Stop behind the bin," Anatoly asked. The taxi driver stopped. Anatoly got out of the car, paid the driver, and began to think about what to do next. However, he did not have to think for long. It turned out that Max lived on the ground floor. He saw the creep through the window of the flat, just outside the bedroom. Max entered the bedroom. Max entered the bedroom first, followed by Irina. Then Max threw Irina down on the bed and started undressing her. Irina must have wanted him too, as she squeezed her eyes shut and smiled. Anatoly couldn't stand it, so he knocked on the window. Max and Irina flinched. Max let go of Irina and walked over to the window, opening it. He was then punched in the face by Anatoly. "Coach's scum," Anatoly shouted. "You son of a bitch," Max said before leaving the room. Soon, he came out into the yard with a tire iron and struck Anatoly first in the ribs with the crowbar, then in the legs. When Anatoly fell down and crouched in pain, Coach kicked him several times in the nose. What happened next, Anatoly did not remember. He woke up in the hospital, where 2 investigators were standing next to the nurse. One of them, as bald as Max but without a mustache, asked, "Good afternoon, how are you feeling?" Anatoly did not answer this question, as he had not yet fully understood his condition. He said something else. "I'm ready to tell you how it was." The investigator replied, "That won't be necessary. We have simply come to tell you that there is nothing you can do. Everything that is supposed to happen has already happened." Anatoly weakly asked, "What about Max?" The investigator responded, "After Max Barnsky beat you, he took off running. We searched for him for a week while you were unconscious, and we found him. We wanted to get him right away, but we couldn't. The bastard put up a lot of resistance during the arrest. In the end, he tried to attack one of the police officers with an axe, so the cops had to use force. They opened fire to kill him. That bastard deserved it," Anatoly sighed. The investigator left his business card and said, "If you need any help, come to us." Anatoly then said, "For now, I'd like to see my wife. I have something to say to this scum." The investigators lowered their heads, and the bald one said, "I'm afraid that's not possible." Anatoly got agitated and wrinkled his nose in pain, but then he got quiet. The investigator continued, "Apparently, your wife said some things to Max after he beat you up, so he killed her right there in his flat. He stabbed her with a knife." "I'm shocked," Anatoly sighed. He felt neither joy nor much grief. Yes, he loved his wife, but after she decided to cheat on him, love was out of the question. The bald investigator explained, "You see, Barnsky has a lousy temper. He could hold a lot of grudges and then take them out on someone. And that person was you, Anatoly. But that's not all. After Barnsky had killed your wife, he tried to attack one of our officers with an axe, so we had to use force to stop him. He deserved what he got. After Barnsky had already vented his anger on someone, he was still angry and unstable. If anyone tried to say a word to him, he would get punched in the face. So he's crazy," exclaimed Anatoly. "How was he allowed to work with people?" The bald-headed investigator threw up his hands. Alas, Barnsky was never registered with a psychiatrist, and he was never seen to have any abnormalities in the normal range. And an aggressive temper, well, it happens. By the way, the management at the gym where Barnsky worked has already been interviewed too. Now, there is an investigation due to the fact that a deranged person was allowed to work as a trainer. In the end, the gym has to be closed down. "Thank you," Anatoly said quietly and made himself comfortable on the bunk. The investigators left. Anatoly took a long time to recover. His broken nose didn't heal properly, and because of this, Anatoly could no longer work at the studio. He became a teacher of diction at the theater faculty of one of the local universities. It was there, among his colleagues, that he found his wife. With her, Anatoly lived a long and happy life. Dear listeners, your support is very important to us. If you like our story, please like, comment, and subscribe. It's very motivating for us. We need your feedback to improve our content.